What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about Black Myth Wukong and the really good news that the game is giving on the physical edition front. So things kind of happened pretty quickly. Yesterday, it was kind of like leading into today, and right now it's available for pre-order. So you could go on Amazon, at least in my area. When I go on it right now, it says I can pre-order the game. Now, there is no date. I mean, there's a listing date, like December 31st, the last day of the month. It says like the fastest delivery date is on Christmas. Like, none of that stuff's going to happen. The game's not coming out New Year's Eve, and the game's not coming out on Christmas Day. They'll give the date very soon. That's kind of what they've talked about separately, is that it's getting ready. You can pre-order it, I think, at least from Amazon. PM Studios is also the ones that are partnering with Game Science to bring the game to the PS5 with a physical edition. So they're the ones doing it. Again, no date to it, but you can pre-order at least on Amazon. And the biggest thing that I specifically want to talk about in terms of like a big win is that everything is on the disc. And they say, to clarify, everything will be on the disc and no internet connection is required. Huge, huge. You know, I'm so into the game preservation stuff. We talk about the game preservation stuff all the time on all three of my channels. But let me just tell you really quickly why this is such a big deal. So while I do, have all these physical games and want all these games physically, and when we get games physically, I see it as a win kind of no matter what, right? But they're not all like these perfect wins. Even say like an Alan Wake 2, right? Alan Wake 2 is finally coming out, I think tomorrow, physically, and it's the deluxe edition, but the second DLC is not on the disc. And also, most of these games that come out, even when they do come out physically, you need the internet because you need to install at least like that day one patch or whatever it might be to get the game. So you might have the disc, but actually you might still need the internet to like do stuff on the disc. So I don't know. For me personally, again, I still look at it as a win if the game comes out and you can literally have it in your hand. But at the same time, I mean, if you want to argue against that, I actually understand. I would maybe side with you, because it's like, well, yeah, you might have it in your hand, a physical disc, but when you put it into the console, you might still literally need the internet to do it. But it's one step closer to having it physically than just having it all digital, right? So for a game like this, to just have, okay, the entire thing is on the disc, because like Nintendo will do it as well, right? Where like these collections that come out, well, 2 of the 3 games are on the disc, but you actually have to download game number 3 from the store. So like a lot of these discs, like I said, they either are not the full game, maybe like half the game is on the disc and you download the other half. Maybe if it's a collection of say 4, you get half and half, the other half is downloaded. You might need an internet connection to download whatever it might be, right? So it's like you have the disc, but do you really? So for Black Myth, it kind of just a clean sweep, right? It's coming out. It's the full game. You don't need the internet. So when you have, and that's honestly, that is pretty big. That honestly is pretty big for me. Now, to be honest with you, I have the game, digitally. So it's like, okay, well, am I going to have to buy it twice? I probably will eventually down the line. I don't think I'm going to do it right away, but I would want that because I do think that's a really solid just thing to have. You know what I mean? 15 years from now, you can have it. And I mean, I think it would still be around digitally in 15 years, but you never know. That's the whole point, right? You truly never know. So to have it physically and the whole freaking thing is on the disc, that's a pretty big win. Now, let me just one thing in terms of like the opposite side. Took them a while. The game comes out in August, and the physical edition was not available there, so not ideal. But you know what? They got out faster than some of these games, right? You look at the Alan Wakes of the world and stuff. Some of these games can take like a year and a half to get a physical edition of an all-digital game. Some all-digital games are still all-digital. They never got even a limited run to it, for the physical disc. So, it took a couple months. I don't know when it's coming out. Hopefully they can do this before Christmas. Hopefully this is like an early December thing. So, you had to go 3-4 months with the game only being digital, right? Which is not great. I don't want any game to do that, but at least I think they're making up for it in a pretty big way with what we just talked about. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on. I hope to see you all on the next one.